So in this video, we will discuss about how the CSF come out the central nervous system. As you know that the CSF is not only formed in the central nervous system, and it is also present in the outside central nervous system. But today we will discuss about how exact point, where and how the CSF escape or come out from the central nervous system. As you know already that this structure in the lateral ventricle and in the fourth ventricle and the third ventricle, see here, and this structure we call choroid plexus. So we already know in the last video, in the video of part 2 and part 3. If you want to know about that, then you can watch again the video part 3. Then you also know how the choroid plexus produce the CSF. Now this structure, again I will recite choroid plexus. Right. Then this choroid plexus produce the CSF. And now you see here, choroid plexus produce the CSF. It means CSF is formed here, right? And then it will go to the third ventricle. This we call the third ventricle. This we call lateral ventricle. And how the CSF go to the third ventricle? And you see there is a hole here. This hole and this hole. And this hole, what we call foramen of Monro. Through the foramen of Monro. So I will write here, foramen of Monro. So through the foramen of Monro, the CSF will go out, and then CSF will go to the third ventricle, right? Go to the third ventricle, like this. And here you also see that this, on the roof of the third ventricle, we also have the choroid plexus here. And this choroid plexus also produce the CSF. And then at the third ventricle, choroid plexus at the roof of the third ventricle will be added here, right? And then more CSF will be produced in the third ventricle, right? And now CSF start moving to this duct we call cerebral aqueduct, right? Now from the third ventricle, the CSF move to the cerebral aqueduct, right? And aqueduct is the cavity of the, aqueduct is the cavity of the midbrain, right? And then at the midbrain here, the CSF continue to going down, okay, to fill up the fourth ventricle, right? At the fourth ventricle, you also see that now CSF come to the fourth ventricle. And then now you see here, on the roof of the fourth ventricle, we also have the choroid plexus here. And the choroid plexus at the fourth ventricle also add the CSF to the fourth ventricle, right? And then now the CSF continue to move downward to the which space? And this space or this cavity we call central canal. Central canal is the cavity of the central canal. Central canal is the cavity of the spinal cord here, right? And then you see at the end of the central canal, there is a little bit dilated here. It means a little bit extended here, okay? It is bigger than this part. At the end, this point, we call that dead end. At the dead end of this central canal, there is a little bit extended, bigger than this portion, right? And then this end we call terminal ventricle. Terminal ventricle is at that end. Why? Because from here, the CSF cannot move downward, right? So you already know how the CSF is produced in the lateral ventricle, and then how it's moved to the third ventricle, and then come to the fourth ventricle, and then come to the central canal, right? Then now we will look at exact point how or where is the point that the CSF will go out the central nervous system. Let's see. As you know, you see outside the central nervous system, so it is covered by the meninges, and the closest meninges or the closest layer. There are three layers cover the central nervous system. We call meningeal layer. Okay, so the first meningeal layer is cover or closest the central nervous system or the brain substance, and this layer very close, okay, to the central nervous system. So this layer we meningeal layer we call pia mater. So what we call this layer we call pia mater. Pia matter, right? And outside this pia matter, then we have another layer, meningeal layer also, and this meningeal layer outside this. I make very big for you to easy to understand. Bit like this, right? And then this layer, meningeal layer, we call arachnoid matter. Arachnoid matter. Now you see here the space. So this via matter and arachnoid matter is create a space between these two meningeal layer, and this space we call arachnoid space. What we call this space, the space between via matter and arachnoid matter, and this space what we call right. This space we call subarachnoid space. Subarachnoid. You must know this space we call subarachnoid space. Okay. Why we should know the subarachnoid space? Because the CSF will present in this space. The CSF will fill up to this space. Full CSF will fill up here. But how? Now see here how. Now from the the fourth ventricle, see here the fourth ventricle, and then you see at this point at lateral side, okay, lateral side there is a two hole here. There is a two opening at this point between bones and medulla, right? Between bones and medulla, we have there are two opening here, and this opening laterally from the side, and we have this hole and this hole, and this hole what we call foramen of Luschka. This hole we call foramen of Luschka. Through this foramen of Luschka, the CSF will go to the subarachnoid space. The CSF will move out to the subarachnoid space here. Right? Now you see, and then now you see CF will continue to move up here. Right? Fill up here. Like this. From here, CSF will also move up here. here. Okay, and from here the CSF also move downward from here, outside the central nervous system. So it means in the subarachnoid space, it is filled up full of the CSF through the foramen of Luschka, right? This is the way how the CSF come out the central nervous system. One more thing here, at the back side, okay, you see at the back side we go posteriorly. So posteriorly at the back side, and there is another foramen here. Okay, so from here the CSF also come out the central nervous system, and this foramen we call foramen of Magendie. Foramen of Magendie. Right. So from foramen of Magendie, so the CSF move posteriorly, yeah, outside, backside of the brain. See, CSF we move backward. So now you know how many foramen. This is the foramen of Monroe, right? And this is the foramen of Luschka. From foramen of Luschka, the CSF will go to the subarachnoid space outside to protect the central nervous system. And from the foramen of Magendie, then the CSF will go to the backside of the brain. We will see the exact point later. But in this video, you just know we have here foramen of Magendie. From that, the CSF also go out the central nervous system. Then now one more thing I want to share with you. The very important space or cavity. So at the point here, at this point, foramen of Luschka, and the CSF will go to this portion. This portion, we call this cavity. This cavity is very big. If we compare the space between the via matter and arachnoid matter, and this portion is small. But at this point, this is the junction between the cerebral hemisphere and the bones. Here is the bones, right? And there is a big space here, a very big space, a very big cavity here. So this cavity where the CSF across or move out through this point or this portion, and this space we call cerebellopontine system. Cerebellopontine system. So you know this at the back of bone and medulla, and there is a cerebellum, right? Cerebellum at the back side, right? And the junction of the cerebellum and the bone, so we call together, and it make a space here, big space here. We call that cerebellopontine system. So remember, cerebellopontine system is the system where the CSF come out from the foramen of Luschka, from this side and from this side too, right? And now here is the foramen of Magendie. Foramen of Magendie, and then at the back side there is also the big space or big cavity there. Okay, and that is the junction, the cavity between the cerebellum and the medulla here, right? This we call medulla, right? And then that system we call cerebellomedullary system, right? Okay, now you see again. Let's we quickly brief it, right? Now here, you already know the CSF will go to the foramen of Monroe, go to the third ventricle, go to the fourth ventricle, and go to the central canal, and it will stop at the terminal. The CSF will stop at the terminal ventricle here, right? and then now they come out the central nervous system to the subarachnoid space, right? And at the point at the junction, okay, where the cerebellum across which the bonds here, and then we call cerebellopontine system. And then next thing, at the backside, posteriorly, the CSF also moved at the backside, right, through this hole, and then foramen of Machendi, and the CSF will go to the cerebellomedullary system. This is the junction of the cerebellum and medullary. So this is the way how the CSF come out the central nervous system. So thank you so much.